Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, June the 12th, and we are here to look at new releases being set into the wild this week. And being Wednesday, we will be looking at romances. There's some big names this week. Sorry, I needed to, as I was looking at the screen, I realized my glasses were just unlivable. I had to clean them. Hope you had a good night. Hope you're having a good day. Thank you for watching. If you're watching it now, and if you're watching it later when I repost this, thank you for watching it later. Quick announcements. Wednesday, I do not have sprints tonight. We do have sprints tomorrow night at, that's not really much better. Tomorrow night, Thursday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Those go for 2.5 hours. I do every Tuesday and Thursday evening and Saturday afternoons at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. Good morning, Susan. How are you? Good morning, Elena. How are you doing? We are here to look at romances. Let's jump in. Now that I can see things. Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. There's got to be an easier way than dating. I want the shortcut. I just want to find my person and start our lives together. It doesn't work that way. Well, it can work that way. Arranged marriages and stuff like that. After a one-night stand with her clingy ex, Aaliyah James has an epiphany. This ain't it. She knows what she wants and she's ready to move past casual hookups, flings, and situationships. But for her family, the clock is ticking. After all, she's almost 30. And when they imply that her personality and her body might be too big to land a man, she lets them know they've gone too far, and her non existent man loves her curves. Thank you very much. Now she has 7 weeks to find the perfect boyfriend to rub in their faces at the big fancy birthday celebration she's been planning. After her first blind date goes wrong, charming local bartender Ahmad Williamson consoles her with a drink and some playful banter. Aaliyah takes him up on his suggestion to use a dating app, but the more she sees of his warm, funny, and easygoing nature, the less she wants to check her DMs. Will her next swipe bring her closer to true love, or is her real match closer than she thinks? Oh, life lessons. Sorry, I can't stay. That was okay. Life goes on. I'm just here for whenever anybody can stop in. You're doing great. Awesome. Me too. Susan says, doing well. Sounds like you're doing well too. So far, so good. And then yesterday we went to Universal City Walk. Oh, cool. Can't stay for a short period of time. Okay. I'm just glad to see you when we see you. Allie Hazelwood has a new one. Not in Love. A forbidden secret affair proves us all fair in love and science. Ruth Siebert might not have it all, but she has enough. A few friends she can always count on, the financial stability she yearned for as a kid, and a successful career as a biotech engineer at Klein, one of the most promising startups in the field of food science. Her world is stable, pleasant, and hard-fought, until a hostile takeover and its offensively attractive frontman threatens to bring it all crumbling down. Eli Kilgore and his business partners want Klein, period. Eli has his own reasons for pushing this deal through, and he's a man who gets what he wants. With one burning exception, Rue, the woman he can't stop thinking about, the woman who's off limits to him. Torn between loyalty and an undeniable attraction, Rue and Eli throw caution out the lab and the boardroom windows. Their affair is secret, no strings attached, and has a built-in deadline: the day one of their companies will prevail. But the heart is risky business, one that plays for keeps. She always has a science-y angle. Kate Spencer is the author of One Last Summer. Clara Millen's life is spiraling out of control. Her dream job is a nightmare. She's resoundingly single, and it's been years since she's taken time off. Thankfully, the last problem she can fix. This year, she'll join her friends on the annual summer vacation to their beloved childhood sleepover camp for a much needed escape. But when Clara arrives at Pine Lake Camp, she faces yet another unwelcome change. The owners are retiring and selling the property. The news turns her plans for revelry into a night of reminiscing and prompts a surprise heart to heart between Clara and Mac, her old camp nemesis and constant competitor, who's still just as annoying and annoyingly handsome. Soon the campfires aren't all that's soaring off sparks, and when one wildly passionate night turns into two, then too many to count, Clara begins to wonder if she and Mac could have a future together. But when Clara's boss finally offers her everything she's worked so hard for, Clara will need to decide if the life she's always wanted is the life that makes her feel truly alive. I bet she picks the guy. Ophelia London, Summer at Mount Joy. She's determined to save her family's ranch, but there's a cowboy hitch in her plans. In a family made almost entirely of successful overachievers, Roxy Elliott is the odd woman out. Yet she's determined to save her family's old rundown ranch from being sold and razed to the ground, and in the process to prove that she has more heart and ambition than her family expected. The only problem, in a town as small as Mount Joy, there's just one guy who can help her with the ranch's transformation, and he's a complete pain in her backside. Had he known Firecracker Roxy Elliott would be his new boss, ex-soldier turned cowboy Josh Manning definitely would have taken a hard pass on the town's new job. He has his own memories from the last time they were together. He's not about to let her off the hook a second time. But Josh will do anything to save his family home from foreclosure, even sell his soul to the last woman he ever would have wanted to be partners with. But Roxy Elliott might just surprise him yet. Etc., etc. Ellen Hildebrand has a new one. I did check. This is new. Swan Song. Chief of Police Ed Capinash is about to retire. Blonde Sharon is going through a divorce. But when a $22 million summer home is purchased by the mysterious Richardsons, how did they make their money exactly? Ed Sheeran and everyone in the community are swept up in high drama. The Richardsons throw lavish parties, flirt with multiple locals, flaunt their wealth with not one but two yachts, and raise impossible hopes of everyone they meet. When their house burns to the ground and their most essential employee goes missing, the entire island is up in arms. This is the last of her Nantucket novels, it says here. Perhaps she is retiring. Here's a classic type romance, The Captain and the Duchess by Alexa Aston. Hang on, coffee. I need coffee for this. Fourth in the series. A widowed duchess yearning to find love, an orphan who became a sea captain, a powerful, forbidden love which ignites between the pair. Dinah Strong, the Dowager Duchess of Seaton, was forced to wed a man much older than herself. Much to his dismay, she gifts him with 4 daughters, who, along with the 2 nieces she raises, became the lights in an otherwise dismal life. Now widowed, Dinah decides to participate in the season, hoping she might be fortunate enough to finally find love. I don't think you get to, as a widow. None of the gentlemen appeal to her because of one man she cannot forget. It says forgot here, but it's forget. Drake Andrews is a man who is everything her late husband was not. The sea captain is bold, daring, and unafraid of taking risks, not to mention his sinfully delicious good looks. Dinah met him briefly before he sailed off on a lengthy voyage, and she finds her thoughts turning to him more and more. Captain Andrews was an orphan raised at sea, and it is the only life he has ever known. He has finally achieved his goal of captaining his own vessel for Neptune Shipping Lines, but he can't seem to get the Dowager Duchess of Seaton out of his mind. His closest friend and former fellow seaman introduced Drake to her just before Drake set sail on his maiden voyage as a captain, and the woman has haunted his dreams every night. Now back in London and between sailing assignments, Drake calls upon the Dowager Duchess, finding, despite their origins, they have much in common. Their growing attraction flames into a torrid affair, with Dinah declaring her wish for them to wed, etc. The False Flat by Melissa Collings. Penelope Auberg is at her breaking point. With an overbearing mother, a married boyfriend, and a boss who gives Penn's high-profile finance clients to male colleagues, it feels like nothing she's accomplished in her 32 years belongs to her. Determined to build a life entirely her own, Penn moves from Minnesota to Tennessee to open a solo financial business. There she meets siblings Deanna and Grant, who attempt to coax Penn out of her socially anxious shell. Hesitant to open up so she doesn't get hurt again, Penn is slow to develop a friendship with Deanna, and she's determined to ignore her feelings for Grant, which is difficult given she's joined his cycling group and a clear something begins blossoming between them. Penn's path in Nashville appears to be smoothing out, but she soon learns that packing up her past isn't quite that easy. If she wants to start fresh, she'll have to decide what she really wants, even if that means riding away from her old life for good. Catherine Center has a new one. Another big name. Lots of big names. I told you this week. The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. She's rewriting his love story, but can she rewrite her own? Emma Wheeler desperately longs to be a screenwriter. She spent her life studying, obsessing over, and writing romantic comedies, good ones, that win contests, but she's also been the sole caretaker for her kind-hearted dad who needs full-time care. Now when she gets a chance to rewrite a script for famous screenwriter Charlie Yates, her personal writing god, it's a break too big to pass up. Emma's younger sister steps in for caretaking duties, as she should, and Emma moves to LA for 6 weeks for the writing gig of a lifetime. But what is it they say? Don't meet your heroes? Charlie Yates doesn't want to write with anyone, much less a failed nobody screenwriter. Worse, the romantic comedy he's written is so terrible it might actually bring on the apocalypse. Plus, he doesn't even care about the script. It's just a means to get a different one greenlit. Oh, and he thinks love is an emotional Ponzi scheme. But Emma's not going down without a fight. She will stand up for herself and for rom-coms and for love itself. She will convince him that love stories matter, even if she has to kiss him senseless to do it. But what if that kiss is accidentally amazing? What if real life turns out to be so much more real than fiction? What if the love story they're writing breaks all Emma's rules and comes true? Jill Shalvis, another big name, new release. The Summer Escape, sixth in the Sunrise Cove series. Anna Moore didn't just wake up one day and decide to go on a wild quest, especially since her life no longer lends itself to wild anything. So how in the world does she end up racing against the clock with Owen Harris, a sexy, enigmatic drinking game adventuress, to prove her beloved dad innocent of stealing $1 million necklace? It's all Wendy's fault. Her older, bossy sister, who's 7 months pregnant and on bed rest in their small Lake Tahoe hometown, is desperate to clear their departed dad's name. Owen, though, is convinced he's guilty as hell and wants to return the jewelry back to its rightful owner, his elderly great aunt. Together, Anna and Owen go on a scavenger hunt for clues to the past, with Wendy remotely along for the ride via an earbud, supplying a running wry commentary to boot. On opposing sides and suspicious of each other as they are, Anna and Owen still can't deny the inexplicable and explosive chemistry between them on this heart-stopping adventure, the outcome of which will prove the necklace isn't the only thing stolen. Their hearts have been as well. And I apologize, this was the book I was reading about. This is real live book news. Up the Ladder, When in Brooklyn, Book 1 by Anna Darcy. When Genevieve sets out to conquer her bedroom insecurities, a captivating and tattooed devil challenges her rule of not getting attached. Genevieve has it all: great job, stunning apartment, perfect boyfriend. When the latter dumps her for being terrible in bed, well, that's partly your job. She sets out to prove him wrong. With the help of a silly online quiz and her best friend, she compiles a list of things that will make her a better lover, determined to go through them one by one. Because she's too focused on climbing the corporate ladder for anything serious, she creates one simple rule: never see the same man twice. The first item on her list leads her to Jake, a dashing Aussie with surgical steel in unexpected places. As charming as he is sinful, Jake is like nothing she's ever known before, with his perfect body covered in tattoos and a penchant for teasing. Before long, the silver-tongued devil comes in the way of her resolve, making it hard to stick to her rule. Can she resist the temptation, or will she give in to her desires? Or better yet, how long can she resist him? They weren't rules, they're more like guidelines. Over the Limit by Kay Bromberg, third in the Full Throttle series. Formula One is coming an up and coming subgenre of romance, hockey and Formula One. Very trendy. You don't mess around with a team's ex, ever. But that's easier said than done when it comes to Blair Carmichael. She's sexy, intelligent, gorgeous, and 100% off limits, and I've never fallen harder. But I can't touch when I most definitely want to. My team's success and my chance at a new contract for next season depends on me keeping my hands on the wheel and off her curves. As the season progresses, we secretly steal as much time as we can together in hotel rooms, after races, anywhere we can't be found out. A real romance out in the open would risk her job in the industry, her reputation, and my image, not to mention my strained relationship with my teammate. I've lived my whole life with one mantra: team first. What I want outside of my racing career hasn't factored in until now, until Blair. She deserves the world, and I plan on giving it to her, even if I have to walk away from the biggest contract of my career. This next one was interesting. It has two different covers, even though it's a new release. The Way We Touch by Tia Louise, first in the Bradford Boys. This is what it looks like on Kindle. And this is what it looks like in physical. I almost kind of like this one better. My brother's best friend might be a cocky wide receiver with an ego the size of Texas, but I swear I didn't mean to almost kill him with a ghost pepper. Logan Murphy should come with a warning. He's as hot as a Carolina Reaper on black asphalt in the middle of July, with perfectly messy dark hair and smoldering blue eyes. And don't even get me started on the way that black tee stretches across his toned chest. He's my brother's best friend. He's also a football star, on track to win the first wide receiver MVP in league history. Good thing I only date golfers, or I did. Good thing he's only visiting for a month, because the more I see he's not a player, the harder it is to block him from running away from my heart. I've always loved football, but after 8 years pro, everything about it leaves me cold. So when I agree to head south with my best friend, this is from him. The last thing I expect is to have my face melted off by his pepper-loving little sister. Dylan Bradford was supposed to be a kid, not a feisty pinup who looks at me like she's never seen a man before. She's all curves and cutoffs, bare feet dancing in the warm summer night. But I'm only in town a month, and she doesn't date football players. Then late night talks turn to sharing past hurts and future dreams, and shy looks turn to confident kisses. The heat between us can't be denied. It's spicy and sweet, and it melts us together until the way we touch becomes more than friendly. It's forever. The last one, and we are almost out of time. This cover is very pretty. A Love Like the Sun by Rhys M. Nielsen. Lifelong best friends spend a fateful summer discovering what might happen if they were to be something more in this blah blah blah. Lanaya Thompson is a homebody who craves privacy. Isaac Jordan is internet famous and spends his days followed by paparazzi. She runs a small business with her mom in her hometown. He runs an international brand, and they've been best friends since childhood. When Isaac comes home to Providence for the first time in months and discovers Lanaya's dream is slipping out of reach as she and her mom struggle to pay the bills at Wildly Green, their natural hair store, she refuses to take a dime from him, and so he does what any self respecting best friend would do: tell the world they're dating. Suddenly, business is booming, and Lanaya agrees to his ridiculous plan to pretend to be lovers for the course of the summer, just long enough to catch the eye of an investor and get her dream back on track, like she helped him do so many years ago, he reminds her. Too soon, though. Lanaya knows she's playing with fire because for as long as they've been friends, there's an undeniable pull they've never given into. And as the lines between art and life, real and pretend, blur, it becomes harder and harder to see where friendship ends and something else begins. Dot, 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 dot. And that's all we got. And just in time. How about that? Alrighty, go forth and have a good Wednesday. We do not have sprints tonight, not on a Wednesday night. We do have them tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and again on Saturday. So every Tuesday and Thursday evenings and Saturday afternoons. Tomorrow we'll be looking at fantasy and science fiction, and on Friday we'll be looking at more historical mysteries for the Midsummer Mist Readathon that I'm hosting. Let me switch this banner. I hope you have a very good day. Read good books, and as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.